Imagine a civilization thousands of years ago building structures that still stand today, defying the limits of their time. How did the Romans achieve such impossible feats of engineering? Have you ever stood in front of a truly ancient building, run your hand over its weathered stones, and just wondered, how on earth is this still here? It's a question that sends a shiver down my spine every time I'm on a dig. We look at the Roman Empire, a civilization that rose and fell 2,000 years ago, and we see their fingerprints everywhere. We find their roads, we find their villas, we find their forts, but it's their monumental structures that truly boggle the mind. How did they, without our modern power tools, laser levels, or computer-aided designs, build things that have outlasted so many empires? The answer isn't brute force. The Romans were clever, ingenious, master engineers who understood the world around them. They looked at the very ground beneath their feet, the raw materials they could quarry, and they saw possibilities. They weren't building for their own lifetime. They were building for an empire they believed would last forever. Their engineering secrets are embedded in the very fabric of our modern world. The magic lies in elegant simplicity and a profound understanding of natural forces. So, let's pull on our boots and get a bit of dirt under our fingernails. We're going on a journey back in time. We'll peel back the layers of history to uncover the hidden genius behind two of their greatest achievements: the Colosseum and the aqueducts. The mighty Colosseum, a stadium that has defied earthquakes, and the incredible aqueducts, the man-made rivers that quenched the thirst of 1 million people. Picture the Colosseum, a colossal stone beast, the grandest amphitheater the world had ever seen. For centuries, it has been the enduring symbol of Rome's power and spectacle. But here's the astonishing part. It sits in an area prone to earthquakes. Several powerful tremors have rocked Rome over the millennia, toppling countless buildings. And yet, while much around it has crumbled, the core of the Colosseum still stands proud. This is no accident. The secret is deep beneath the ground. They started by digging a massive trench, a huge donut-shaped hole that went down 12 meters. Into that trench, they poured a massive ring of Roman concrete, but it wasn't a solid block. They built it in layers using different stones and aggregate. Think of concentric rings, a colossal shock absorber that could flex and dissipate seismic energy. When the ground shook, the energy was absorbed before it reached the arches. A principle we still use today: base isolation, letting the ground move while the building above stays relatively still. They spread the immense weight over a wide area and effectively made the foundation float on softer soils. It's a dynamic system designed to live in harmony with volatile geology. The Colosseum's survival proves its creators were masters of resilience, engineers, not just showmen. If you had to name the Romans' single greatest contribution to engineering, you couldn't do much better than their incredible concrete. We think of concrete as modern, but the Romans perfected a recipe 2,000 years ago. It wasn't just cement, water, and sand. The secret was volcanic ash, pozzolana, cement, water, sand, and the absolute magic: volcanic ash, pozzolana, from Vesuvius and nearby volcanoes. That ash reacted with lime and water to form a concrete that was strong, waterproof, and unbelievably durable. Roman harbors and breakwaters survived 2 millennia of Mediterranean battering. Pozzolanic ash formed interlocking crystals that filled microcracks, a kind of self-healing concrete. This is why the Pantheon's dome, the largest unreinforced concrete dome, still stands. Paired with the arch, which redirects weight outwards and down, Romans could build bigger, taller, and more open structures. Brick-faced concrete let them build fast, a strong core faced with decoration, strong, cheap, and versatile. That combination powered Rome's building boom and stamped their architectural identity across a continent. Material plus design, the Romans' secret building blocks. Next, how modern engineers are learning from them. It's easy to think of Roman engineering as a dusty chapter, but much of their thinking is alive and well today. Modern architects face earthquakes and sustainability challenges, and they're looking back to the masters. Principles that kept the Colosseum standing are being rediscovered and adapted for skyscrapers. The idea of isolating a building from ground movement, the Romans did so with deep, layered foundations. Today, we use base isolation bearings. These modern bearings work like the Colosseum's foundation, letting the ground shake while the building above stays relatively still. Architects in Tokyo and San Francisco are taking a page from that playbook to protect lives and property. Scientists are studying Roman pozzolanic chemistry to make greener, longer-lasting concrete. They're experimenting with fly ash and reclaimed industrial byproducts to reduce CO2 and improve durability. The dream: modern concrete that actively repairs itself and lasts centuries, not decades. Imagine bridges and seawalls needing far less maintenance, infrastructure kinder to the planet. Decoding Rome's lost recipe could revolutionize construction and make infrastructure safer. The Romans may be long gone, but their genius gives us a blueprint for a more resilient future. If the Colosseum was the heart of Rome's spectacle, the aqueducts were its veins and arteries. No city in the ancient world could rival Rome's size without a constant, reliable supply of fresh water. For drinking, public baths, flushing sewers, and grand fountains, water was essential. The nearby Tiber was polluted and unsuitable for drinking, so the Romans built 11 major aqueducts that stretched like stone serpents across the land. They brought over 1 billion liters of fresh water into the city every day, more per person than many modern cities. When you see Pont de Garde or similar bridges, you're seeing the dramatic arched crossings. But those bridges were a small, visible part. Most of the system ran hidden underground. The specus, narrow stone channels lined and covered to protect the flow. Building them required surveyors, engineers, and a massive labor force. It was public works on an epic scale. Projects took decades, sometimes centuries, and transformed public life. The water symbolized civilization: baths, fountains, sanitation, and the very possibility of a metropolis on Rome's scale. They were the silent, flowing foundation of the city's greatness. So how did they do it? Get water to flow continuously over 90 kilometers without a single mechanical pump? The simple answer: gravity. A meticulously maintained, gentle gradient along the entire route. They used a chorobates, a plank with a water groove, to check level, a groma for sighting straight lines, a dioptra to measure angles. Simple, effective tools for incredible accuracy. They followed contours, winding around hills, taking long detours to keep that all-important gentle slope. When necessary, they tunneled, digging kilometers through solid rock, often from both ends. They used smoke signals and precise measurements to align tunnels, meeting in the middle with mind-boggling precision. The specus, lined with opus signinum, crushed terracotta mortar, gave an impermeable, smooth channel for water. Stone lids kept leaves and debris out and reduced evaporation under the hot sun. Every detail, survey, tunnels, linings, lids, formed a gravity-powered symphony that brought life to Rome. The impact of the aqueducts stretched far beyond a nice drink. They transformed the idea of what a city could be. Constant, abundant water enabled public hygiene unseen again until the 19th century. It supplied grand public baths, complex social hubs for business, relaxation, and community. It fed sewers like the Cloaca Maxima, flushing waste out and dramatically reducing disease. Water management was a statement: we bring order, civilization, and power. When Romans conquered territory, they often built an aqueduct and a bathhouse, stamping identity on the landscape. After the fall of Rome, much knowledge was lost. Great aqueducts fell into disrepair and cities shrank. It took 1,000 years for engineers to relearn principles of sanitation and water supply. When cities like London and Paris tackled sanitation in the 1800s, they looked back to the Roman model. The concept of centralized public water utilities has its roots in Rome. So the next time you turn on a tap, or see a crew laying big pipes underground, give a little nod to those ancient engineers. The principles they pioneered, harnessing gravity, long-distance transport, and providing clean water, flow as powerfully today as the water they once carried. Their ideas continue to shape our world. Unearthing these lost marvels gives us not just wonder, but solutions for the future.